Hi, my name is David Stewart, and I'd like to give you a couple of tips on how to pick a good music instructor. I've been teaching music for over 10 years in a bunch of different cities. I've taught at the university and the college level, and I've learned a thing or two about the business. Those of you who've seen my videos before know that most of my videos focus on guitar. I'm a guitar player, so most of my videos focus on that particular instrument. But these guidelines are good for any instrument that you want, with perhaps the exception of the last point, which really applies more to guitar players than anyone else. If you're looking at this video and you're learning a lot of guitar stuff on YouTube, you might be a very self-motivated person, happy to pick up pieces off the internet or off of YouTube videos and really incorporate them into your playing and practice a lot. But it's still a good idea to think about getting a little bit of visual and interpersonal feedback on your playing. Having somebody be physically there, look at your hands, correct your technique, show you technique directly, be able to show you at whatever pace, and also be able to guide you in your practicing towards achieving your goals. You're not really going to get feedback from a video like this. Okay, so with that in mind, the first point you should look for whenever you're looking for an instructor to teach you music is know your skill level. So you have to know how good you are, because you do not want to overspend on your lessons. You don't want to hire Pepe Romero, who's a great classical guitarist. If you have just picked up the guitar, it will not be worth your money. He may teach you because you're willing to pay, but you're really not going to get anything more out of him than you'd get from a guy who's been playing for a couple of years, maybe teaches at the local music store. So if you're a beginner, look at local places, local schools, local music stores that offer lessons, and look into those instructors, because they'll be a lot cheaper and you're going to get the same amount of information out of them. Save your money for the big names for when you're really good. Okay? That's how you're really going to get your money's worth. Pepe Romero's not going to have anything different to say to you if you're a beginner than I would, or a beginning instructor would. Okay? So number 2 is don't overschedule your time. A lot of people make this mistake, especially people who are really excited to play. They just want to jump into it and be so good. They want to schedule multiple hours, and I've even taught students like 2, 3, 4 hours a week, like they're coming in every day. I could tell you that that's not worth your money. There's really, really severe diminishing returns on spending lots of time in instruction, because the real learning, the real advancement happens when you get your instrument out and you practice at home. And for most people, a 30-minute lesson is probably going to do it, unless you're a very advanced player, and then you can do an hour a week. But that, I wouldn't recommend doing an hour a week unless you're willing to practice more than 4 hours a day, say 5, 6 hours a day plus, to really master everything somebody has to say in an hour. Okay, in 30 minutes, if you're practicing 2 hours a day, you'll get through 30 minutes of material in a week. But if you're practicing 4 or 5 hours a day, the 30 minutes, you'll get done with it in a couple of days, and you'll wonder what to do next. If you're sitting there for a whole hour and you're not practicing that much, you're just not going to get through the material. The instructor's going to repeat it. You're not going to get your money's worth. So don't overspend on the instructor. Don't overspend on the amount of time that you spend with instruction. Instruction time does not equal skill gain, okay? Number 3 is know the skill level of your instructor. An instructor should be able to play well, should be able to play things that you can't play, and he should be willing to demonstrate that playing. I always have my instrument in a lesson. I tend to be very critical of people who don't bring their instruments to lesson to demonstrate, to give feedback, to really let somebody know what it's supposed to look like, sound like, feel like. If somebody's not willing to play, if you've never seen them play, that tends to, from my perspective, be a pretty bad sign. I've taught a couple lessons without an instrument because of other factors, like, I ended up having to put it in the shop at the store that I was at. I didn't happen to have a guitar that day, but those are rare occurrences. You should really look for an instructor that's a good player and exceed your skill level. If he's not playing as good as you, if you're an advanced player, you should really look down the line and spend a little bit more on a better instructor. Okay, so that's know your stylistically level. Don't overspend. Know the skill level of your instructor. The 4th one is pick stylistically compatible instructors. What that means is that if you're interested in playing metal, do not hire a classical guitarist to teach you classical technique and then expect it to somehow make you better at metal. It will make you better at classical technique, but if what you want to do is play metal, then you should hire someone who's an expert in metal. Likewise, if you want to do classical, don't expect someone who comes in with a Taylor or a Martin guitar to really teach you much that's going to be applicable to a classical instrument. You should focus on what your passion is and don't really accept substitutes. So that's number 4. The 5th one is a much bigger issue for guitar players than any other instrument, and that is you need to pick an instructor who actually teaches you to read music. Those of you who aren't guitar players, there might be a joke. How do you get a guitar player to play quiet? You give them sheet music, and that's because guitar players are notoriously bad readers, and a lot of them just don't know how to read music. They're very sort of in the pop music realm, learn a lot of like really simple theory, how to play chords, and then don't learn much beyond that. If you're a guitar player especially, please pick an instructor who will teach you to read music. It's really important for your development as a musician, especially as you become a more advanced musician. If you're a teenager and you're looking to maybe major in music, you do not want to go to college without knowing how to read music. You will flunk out. It's really, really important because it will be foundational to your understanding of theory. You won't be able to operate in music theory unless you know how to read music and standard notation. Okay? You just won't. The other thing is your communication with other non-guitarists, other people who don't play your instrument, is really important if you read. You want to be able to write down music, have them play it, and not have some sort of confusion like, oh, it's a C major chord, I don't know what notes are in it. So learn how to read music. It's really important. And then once you know how to read music, you can pick up any sheet music, even if it's not for guitar or not for your instrument, be able to figure out what's in it and play it for yourself. You won't need as much instructors to show you every little thing. Okay? So those 5 things, again, are know your skill level and don't overspend. Okay? Don't overspend on the amount of lessons that you get. 30 minutes is good for most people. Know the skill level of your instructor. He should be able to play well. He or she should be able to play well. Number 4, pick stylistically appropriate instructors. Pick instructors that are going to teach you the style that you want. You want to learn jazz? Learn jazz. Number 5 is pick an instructor who knows how to read music. If you give up on any one of those things, you're going to be either spending your money unwisely or you're not going to be getting the maximum amount of your instruction. And I guess the final piece of advice is if an instructor's not working out, if you don't feel like they're teaching you what you want to know and it doesn't seem to change, feel free to change instructors. There's plenty of them out there. And have a good time. You do not have to stay enrolled in lessons year-round. That's your choice. As an instructor, I would love if students stayed enrolled 100% of the time because of the money, but if you feel like you don't have the time to practice, you don't have to spend the money on lessons. I guess that would be point number 6. Don't get lessons unless you're really willing to spend the money to practice or spend the time to practice. Don't spend the money if you're not willing to spend the time. So my name is David Stewart. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you found this informative, and let me know if you had any luck with those points. Okay, so have a good day, and I'll see you next time.